New CBS polling finds that President Biden and former President Donald Trump are virtually tied nationally and in battleground states. This comes as Trump returned fully to the campaign trail for the first time since his New York felony conviction. He held a rally in Las Vegas over the weekend. Part of his strategy out west is to win more voters in traditionally blue states. And he also unveiled a new policy that he plans to enact if elected.
So this is the first time I've said this, and for those hotel workers and people that get tips, you're going to be very happy, because when I get to office, we are going to not charge taxes on tips, people making tips.
All right, CBS News campaign reporter Olivia Rinaldi is following this from Las Vegas. Got a big cheer from the audience there. I'm just going to throw something out there, having been a waitress for a period of time. I don't know how many tips get actually thrown in there for taxes when people are filling out their tax forms, but you're supposed to. You're supposed to file including your tips. Can you explain Trump's strategy here?
Yeah, good morning, Anne-Marie. This was a huge announcement from the former president. And you mentioned there, this is crucial for service workers like waiters and waitresses, especially hotel workers here in Las Vegas. And I will note, it did get a very loud applause line at the rally yesterday in Las Vegas. But back to that point about the taxes on tips, a big announcement from the former president. Basically, what this means is that any wages that are earned through tips, Trump is saying we would no longer add taxes on them. That is something that people are required to report to the IRS, as you mentioned. But kind of speaking to that broader point, that's not something Trump can do right away. That is something that actually needs Congress's approval. So while it was a big announcement from the former president, it is something that will have to go through Congress. However, I did talk with some hotel workers yesterday, some service workers here in Las Vegas, about how that is playing with them. And Anne-Marie, about 6 people told me that would change their vote. That is enough to make them switch from voting Democrat to Republican if Donald Trump is promising something like that to them.
Fascinating. Okay, so let's talk about this conviction and whether or not it's had an impact thus far. New CBS News polling indicates that Trump's conviction in his New York case is pretty much a non-factor for voters. What have you been hearing from voters on the West Coast about this?
Yeah, it's actually really interesting. I, went outside the Strip back into some, suburban areas here in Las Vegas, some grocery stores where I talked to voters and I asked them, does this play at all? And what we've heard time and time again is this conviction really hasn't played with any voters. I spoke with some undecideds who said they still are doing their research. When I asked if a conviction is part of that research, they told me, no, it's not something they're really considering. People are really baked in on this issue. If you feel a certain way about the president, that conviction is going to make you feel more strongly. If you feel positively about the president, you think that people are out to get them. Those are the types of things I hear at that rally. The conviction is not playing with them. If anything, it's really invigorated his base. But for voters who are still not quite sure, it's not really something they're considering, at least of the people I've talked to here. And that's really interesting for Nevada, which is a battleground state, somewhere that Biden is really hoping to win.
That's, I guess it's not surprising, though, because Donald Trump is a known entity, not just as a candidate, but as a president. People know what kind of president he's going to be. And if they've already come to a conclusion as to whether they like him or not, this conviction may not make much of a difference. But let me ask you, he's spending a lot of time on the West Coast. How important is it for him to drum up support in that area of the country?
Yeah, Anne-Marie, this is a crucial part of the country for Donald Trump. On this trip, he visited 2 battleground states. So he was in Arizona last Thursday, and he had the rally in Nevada yesterday. So those are 2 states that he visited, but he also held fundraisers out here. He attended about 4 fundraisers, 3 in California, 1 here in Las Vegas on Saturday evening. A campaign official told me that they raised about $27 million in hard money, a couple extra million for their super PAC. So all very interesting there. We'll need to check with FEC reports to fully confirm those numbers, but that's a lot of money that Trump is getting on these big fundraiser swings, and it kind of speaks to this effort that he's kind of trying to gin up support out here in Arizona, Nevada, Southern California. There's a lot of transplants from Southern California here in Nevada, over in Arizona, in Phoenix, where I was. So that's really interesting there. But someone told me, a source had told me, that if you win Arizona, you win the whole thing. And I think Trump is starting to realize that. This was his first trip to Arizona last week. week. This is his third trip to Nevada in the last several months since I've been following him. So all very interesting, all kind of this broader effort to really cement his support out here, out west.
Speaking of Nevada, Donald Trump's endorsing endorsing rather Sam Brown for the Republican Senate primary there. What can you tell us about this?
Yeah, Sam Brown is a retired Army captain. He is someone who's running for Senate out here in Nevada. And I actually spoke with him yesterday at the rally. I saw him handing out water bottles. I was a little bit surprised. I was like, what are you doing here? Were you invited? Had the campaign asked you here? He said he wasn't invited, but he just wanted to come out anyways. It was the best way for him to connect with voters. I asked if he was expecting an endorsement. He kind of shrugged. He said, we'll see. There has been some issues with the MAGA base and Sam Brown. People have accused him of being an establishment candidate. People have accused him of being too close to Mitch McConnell, someone who Trump does not have a good relationship with. So Trump kind of wavered rather on that endorsement during the rally. He said, you have a good man Brown here, but didn't go any further. But later on in the evening, we got a True Social post that he is giving his full endorsement behind Sam Brown, who's likely going to win in that primary, which is being held tomorrow here in Nevada.
All right, Olivia Rinaldi, thank you.